Welcome back to the 13th annual Halloween special. Tonight we're talking about a new film that's dropping on Shudder on October 3rd, and that's VHS Halloween. I got to see this movie in a theater because of Beyond Fest. It showed there. I saw it with a packed crowd of very ravenous and excited horror-hungry fans, and it was an absolute blast. If you've never seen any of the VHS movies, they've been coming out since 2012, and I have done reviews for, I think, almost all of them, if not all of them. I really enjoy this franchise, and it's a franchise that allows filmmakers to explore in the found footage realm, and in some cases, in other ways, when filmmakers find ways around it. But as of late, these movies have taken on themes, and this one is Halloween. All of the shorts in this movie take place on Halloween or have some kind of Halloween element to them. The wraparound segment in this anthology is called Diet Phantasma, written and directed by Bryan M. Ferguson. You might remember commercials back in the day where people taste tested Pepsi and Coke and tried to tell the difference blindfolded, and the whole marketing campaign was that you couldn't. I don't know how. I mean, it's a very different taste. But this wraparound segment feels like a parody of that to the extreme. They're trying to taste test some kind of new beverage that has an element that creates violence in people or just kills them instantly. And it's very, very funny, especially whenever someone's dying horrifically and text appears at the bottom of the screen that says "for internal use only." Just about every time that popped up, the audience got a chuckle out of it. The first official segment in the anthology is written and directed by Zlokovic. This one showcases teenagers who are going trick-or-treat. It's kind of viewed as maybe their last trick-or-treat because they're starting to age out of it, and they encounter a house where there is this entity that may or may not be looking for people that she can take care of, so to speak. And this is one of the more gross segments, and I mean that in a very good way. It's a gross out segment. There's a lot of milk in this one, but there's some really good scares and some tension building, and I enjoyed it quite a bit. The next one has a name that I'm probably going to butcher, but it's called Ut Supra Sic Infra. It's directed by Paco Plaza. This one's about the sole survivor of a tragic massacre who is taking the police back to the scene of the crime to recount the events. And while he's recounting the events, we flash back to what actually happened, and we get a sense of what went on. This one is one of the more serious ones of this film, but it does feature an incredible murder, and a very, very good practical effect that had my entire audience applauding. The next one's called Fun Size, written and directed by Casper Kelly. This one also follows some teenagers who are maybe too old to be trick-or-treating, but they break the rules of a candy bowl at a house that says only to take one per person, causing them to descend into a night of chaos and death where they learn the truth about some Halloween candy. And this one is my favorite of the entire movie. It is, like you would expect from the title, very, very fun. Huge laughs out of the crowd, great deaths, a really, really good atmosphere to it. This one just really understood exactly what the VHS crowd wants, which I think is great gore, really good practical effects, and a lot of laughs. The next one's called Kid Print, and it's written and directed by Alex Ross Perry. This one's about a store that's offering a service that videotapes children to ID them, and is meant to keep them safe because there is a serial killer on the loose that targets children. This is one of the darkest shorts I have seen in a VHS movie, period. And it was very, very interesting to experience this with a packed theater because the previous ones are mostly fairly fun. In this one, the violence feels real. It doesn't back away from it. There is a lot of harm to children, and it made the audience, I think, feel very uncomfortable. And I don't mean that in a bad way. A VHS movie is meant to startle you and scare you in some ways. It doesn't mean that all of them have to be very fun and disposable necessarily. But this one is dark and very, very violent. And it did change the feeling in the room. For that reason, this short is a standout. For some, that will be a very good thing, and for others, I could see them wanting to turn it off because it is very gruesome. But I was very impressed not just with the practical effects, but with the things that Perry was willing to depict on screen. And the final one is called Home Haunt, written and directed by Micheline Pitt Norman and R.H. Norman. I'm sorry if I said their names incorrectly. And this is a great one to end it on because it also has violence against children, but in a more fun way, if that's possible. It just doesn't take it as seriously. This one is about a home haunt, a tradition that a father does every year with his son ever since he was young. And now his son's a little bit older, doesn't want to do it anymore, is kind of embarrassed by it, but he agrees to do it for one more year. And unfortunately, this is the year the dad buys a cursed LP, a record, at a store and plays it, and literally brings hell to the party. This one's a blast. I loved it. This is a really good VHS movie, one of the better ones that I've seen over the past few years. I'm surprised it took them this long to choose Halloween as a theme, but I'm glad they did because it gives them so much to play around in. And you could tell all the filmmakers were really excited about bringing their own personal brand of horror or comedy to the Halloween theme. This last one also has an appearance by a makeup legend. I won't spoil it for you, but it was clear that the inspiration there was very much so from him, because this one also has really terrific practical effects and gore. It's pretty amazing these films have lasted as long as they have, because you would think that something like this would get old after a while, but because they have such a great revolving door of new filmmakers who are making exciting stuff, and also some old masters who sometimes come in to just make one of these, it's clear they found an effective way to continue this franchise and have it always feel new and fresh. This is a really good one. I hope you guys do check it out. It is streaming on Shudder. Guys, thank you so much for continuing to watch the 13th annual Halloween special. Look forward to more videos very soon. And as always, if you like this, you can click right here and get Stuckmanized.